Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is going to be my detailed breakdown and install of the Westin HDX brush guard in black, available for your 2009 to 2014 F150. This does exclude all Raptors and Harley-Davidson trucks. Now in this review, I plan on talking about what the HDX from Westin is going to offer from a functionality and styling standpoint. We'll break down the materials and construction of this monster, and then finally we'll give you a brief little overview of the installation. And while the install itself really won't be all that bad, there is a little bit of trimming needed for the plastic air dam area, in addition to this thing just weighing an absolute ton. So I'm still going to go strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, as most of the work can be done using a basic socket set. So the HDX from Westin is a premium brush guard option and will be one of the company's most complete offerings in regards to total front end protection here, but without a winch mount, something that will help keep the cost down a little bit compared to some of the other more optioned out brush guards here on the site. Also setting the HDX aside will be that full stainless steel construction, in addition to the category leading 2-inch tubing here. And finally guys, you can still retain the use of those front tow hooks with the brush guard installed, something all of the other options don't always give you. Now ultimately, you guys know the deal, right? A brush guard like this is going to be the ultimate in protection for the front end of your truck, and the HDX here from Westin takes things a step further with the inclusion of the center bars and the punch plate here, giving you even more protection for the front end, more specifically that grille and radiator area. Now this is a solid choice if you do subject your truck to a lot of heavy off-roading, a lot of work site use, or if you just want to help achieve a very aggressive front end look. Now that HDX name actually stands for Heavy Duty Extreme, and I can tell you guys, this thing certainly lives up to that claim, and it's built as solid as they come. You're looking at 2-inch tubing throughout, in addition to that full stainless steel build, which again will separate this from some of your other more affordable options on the site that will typically use a mild steel instead to help keep that price point down. Everything has then been finished off in this very sleek satin black powder coating, which should help keep this thing looking good for years to come. And even though this thing is a more premium option, it's still very affordable in the land of brush guards at right around that $600 price point, and it is even backed by a 3-year warranty just in case you should ever need it down the road. Switching gears and talking about functionality a little bit more, well, as you might imagine, this one is pretty cut and dry, right? A brush guard like this is going to be the most hardcore way to protect the entire front end of your truck from whatever you might encounter on or off the road. Now this could be trees, shrubs, or whatever off-road, wayward shopping carts, deer on the road. You guys get the point, and this thing will certainly have your back. So we talked about how the HDX really is going to bulletproof the front end through that class-leading 2-inch stainless steel tubing. Your big burly main supports here, again, which are going to handle most of the front end protection, but you are also getting some protection for the headlight area as well, as you can see with either side of this thing, but at the same time, you shouldn't have to worry about any effect to your light output. And speaking of light output, one thing that people might not oftentimes consider when adding a brush guard like this is that it will open up a number of possibilities for mounting auxiliary lighting. For instance, light bars up top here or on the crossbars, spotlights, fog lights, things like that. And the best part is, mounting them to the brush guard themselves prevents you from having to drill into your actual truck or the bumper itself. As far as styling, well, I do believe that something like this, a brush guard, will be more of a functional part first as opposed to a stylish part, but there are probably people out there who prefer the appearance of something like this and have no intention of running stuff over. That's perfectly all right too, because a brush guard will certainly toughen up the front end of your truck and help add a very aggressive appearance. Now, one thing I do really enjoy about the HDX here from Westin is just how well it fits the truck. I really enjoy the proportions. I feel like it does a great job of protecting the truck's vitals, but without being too crazy or over the top. Now, sometimes in the land of brush guards, you can get these wild things that are just so crazy, you really can't even tell what kind of truck they're bolted up to. That's certainly not the case here with the Westin. Again, you're getting plenty of front end protection, but without being a lesson in overkill. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that the HDX from Westin does kind of protrude off the front end of the truck slightly here, but that really shouldn't come as too much of a surprise to you guys out there, as that typically is expected with the brush guard, but more so a little bit here with the HDX because it's designed in a way to allow the hood to open without a built-in tilt feature, kind of like some of your more affordable options like a barricade, for instance, that do hug the truck a little bit better, but they do incorporate some kind of tilt or slide feature. Switching gears, let's get into the install here slightly, guys. And as I pointed out at the very top of this video, you really aren't looking at anything too crazy here. Tool-wise, just a basic socket set, and again, your trimming tool to help you with some light trimming of some plastic for the lower air dam. Overall, I'm sticking to my strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe an hour or two before this thing is bolted up to the front end of your truck. Now, before you get started, you will need to remove the front air dam along with those front tow hooks just to get the included brackets and hardware in place. At this point of the install, you will be doing some light trimming, and I do mean light. You are going to be trimming up the corners of the front air dam to make room for the brackets and all that good stuff. But believe me when I tell you, this isn't visible once everything is in place. With the brackets in place, now's the time to grab a buddy, have them help you hold this monster in place while you snug up all the hardware, and your install is pretty much complete. Again, this one really isn't all that hard, guys. Just the sheer size and weight of this thing will make it a little harder than it needs to be, but if you have an extra set of hands, it will definitely come in handy. And at the end of the day, Westin does include some very detailed instructions that should help you with your job. Wrapping things up here with the HDX, this thing is actually one of my top choices in the brush guard field for the 09 to 14 trucks for a couple of different reasons. First and foremost, that all stainless steel construction and category leading 2-inch tubing will help make this thing as bulletproof as they come. Secondly, I do really enjoy the fact that this does still maintain the use of those front tow hooks if you should ever need them. And last but not least, even though this thing is pretty optioned out, it is still pretty affordable overall. So guys, that is my review of the Westin HDX, which you can grab right here at AmericanMuscle.com.